Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. So, I'm lying down upstairs yesterday when I get a message come through on Messenger from my old mate Guy Jessup Braithwaite, who sent me a picture of him stepping out of the TARDIS, looking, for all intents and purposes, looking a little bit like Christopher Eccleston with the leather jacket. With a message of something like, "Guess where I am?" Where it was is somewhere that I've always thought of having a go at. I don't know whether you've heard of Comic Con. It's a sort of a convention type thing for sci-fi geeks, fans, where basically they get to meet stars of the movies, buy merchandise. There are stalls everywhere. And the bits of film that I've seen of these things, I've always looked at them and thought, I wouldn't mind a go at that. So I was quite envious of that one. He promised he was going to do a little bit of a video just to tell us all what was there. Jason Voorhees was there. I did ask him about that one. But it looked, that picture of him stepping outside the TARDIS looked amazing. And I've been looking at some of the pictures on the internet that people have posted of the convention, and it looks great. So I hope he had a good time, Guy. It looked brilliant, mate. It really did. And then a little bit later on, I'm scrolling up the movie pages, Retro Movie Zone, my own page obviously, and there's a picture of Chris Hewkins standing next to none other than the legendary Mr. Mel Gibson. And he'd been to an event called I can't remember what there's an evening with, but basically it's a question and answer session where you get to ask your heroes questions that you've always wanted to ask them. And it ended up with him having a cosy little conversation about Lethal Weapon 5 with Mr. Gibson. The picture looked brilliant and the event itself sounded great. And again, he said he might do a little video. Oh no, he didn't. No, I asked him if he would do one, but he's not replied to it yet, so maybe he won't, I don't know. But I think we'd all be very curious to know how that evening went. So nothing that I could say to you now could pretty much equal any of that. But it was great to get these messages through. People are getting out and about and doing these things now. What have I been watching this week? I've been off work and I've been very, very undisciplined. One of the movies I did watch was Titane. I'd heard about this quite a while ago. It's a movie that has caused walkouts in Cannes. It won the Palme d'Or Festival Award. God, I don't even know where to start with this. I've been looking at reviews all morning on the internet, on YouTube, and nobody is giving anything away. And I think that's probably the right way to approach this. The less you know about this, the better. All you do need to know from me, really, is that this movie is absolutely insane. I've never seen anything quite like this. It is just completely unique. I'll give you a brief idea of the story, but I'm going to give nothing away as such. It begins with a car crash. A little girl is injured thanks to her father's negligence and has a metal plate put in her head. And you fast forward a few years later, and she's a dancer at motor shows, sort of riding about all over cars and stuff like that. And that is pretty much all I'm going to tell you about it. It's a beautifully shot film. It is very, very stylish, really well acted. It is a superb movie, but I've got to admit, I will never, ever watch it again. It's brilliant, but it's easily one of the most unpleasant movie experiences I think I've ever had. It's another of these films where I watched a good portion of it like this, and it's like, oh God, no, really, seriously? It is, as I say, it is seriously insane. The subject matter is as controversial as hell. I can kind of see why people were walking out of it. I don't agree with it, but I do kind of see that a lot of people would find this way too heavy. I mean, if you get the chance to watch it, have a look, but be prepared. nothing that I could say would prepare you for what you're about to see. Um, it's just mad, and the levels of violence is just through the roof. They've cranked it up to an 11 or 12 with this one. It's a French movie. Um, I would have to say that if I were to compile a list of say 5 movies that I have seen and that I will probably never watch again, this would be easily in the top 3. I've been looking forward to it for quite a while, and I've got this preconceived idea in my head of what it was that I was about to watch. I could not have been more wrong. I thought it was going to be some kind of a stylish, super sexy kind of French movie, that's a little bit raw, not Last Tango in Paris, but along those sort of lines. And oh my God, I couldn't have been any further from the truth. If you get the chance to watch Titane, take a look at it, but be prepared to be squirming in your seat an awful lot and covering your eyes and plugging your ears up. It is a shocking piece, really, really shocking. I'm glad I've seen it, but I think I can safely say that I will never ever watch it again. Unlike the next one. Now, I've been meaning to watch this one for quite a while, and Jason Parry said you really need to watch this, so I popped it on last week. The Revenant. Can't believe it's took me this long to watch this one. Stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy, who basically play fur trappers. They are attacked by savages, escape. The hunting party is sort of split up, and you end up with the rest of the group split up from Tom Hardy, his son, who is, I believe he had with an Indian lady, and a young lad played by Will Poulter. He with the amazing eyebrows. You'd know him if you saw him. It's a cracking film. It really is brilliantly done. It's brutal. I wouldn't class it as shocking. The bear attack scene, which I'd heard so much about, that didn't disappoint. That was really, really nasty. And there's quite a lot of brutality in it. There were a couple of scenes where I was sort of like this, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But the film itself is absolutely brilliant. What it does get across is the sense of the freezing cold, unpleasant landscape. It is a really unforgiving place. It's not Alaska, but it's like it. It's just permanently snowing. It looks freezing cold all the time. I actually had to put the heating on halfway through because I started to feel cold just watching all these people swimming about in this icy water. But if you've not seen The Revenant, I would highly recommend it. It is a cracking film, really, really well done. The photography is superb. Tom Hardy is brilliant as always. If I had one niggle with it, it was his accent. It was probably done really well. It got quite a hefty southern drawl, and I didn't catch a lot of what he said. Couldn't understand a lot of what he said. I got the general gist though, so it didn't detract from the general sort of appeal for the film. But his accent was quite strong, and I guess that this is how they talk back then, so that's just how it was. But the film itself, superb, can't fault it. Well worth watching, and it is one that I will watch again, unlike Titane. But I will be watching this one again, as I get the feeling it will be better second time round. So, right, another movie that I got to revisit last week, and I'm going to be publishing a review on the website very shortly. So if you'd like to pop over and have a look at that, I'd appreciate any comments that you've got on that one. Ghostwatch. In 1992, the BBC screened a play, which was done in the style of a live broadcast. It was some kind of a weird hybrid of Crime Watch and sort of Poltergeist, the Toby Hooper movie. Starred Michael Parkinson, Sarah Green, Mike Smith, who were both trusted children's presenters back then. Basically, it sent the whole nation, half of the nation, into a panic, basically because they missed the credits at the beginning, which would have told them that it was a drama. and obviously people thought it was real, including me. And I thought it was about time, especially seeing as I was writing a review of it, that I had another look and see whether it holds up today. It does. It absolutely holds up. It is still a disturbing piece of television. Did it get to me the way that it did the first time I saw it? No. But it was still very unnerving. It's one of those, I'm really, really hoping it's the 30th anniversary next year. And I'm hoping that we get some kind of a Blu-ray release, which will include a documentary that was released a few years ago called Behind the Curtains, which is like the ultimate Ghostwatch making of, all that kind of thing. It's out of stock now. It's been out of print for quite a while, but I'm hoping that's going to be included on that if they do release it. I suppose it depends how the BBC feel about it, because they swore that they would never ever show this thing again. So maybe they've mellowed a bit. It caused such controversy when it came out, so I'm not really surprised that they backed away from screening the thing ever again. But it didn't upset me the way it did the first time I watched it, but it's still pretty powerful stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit amateurish in parts, and I didn't get that the first time round, but it's still worth a watch. If you get the chance to have a look, I'd definitely recommend it. Right, very quickly, what have I been buying this week? Started off with this one. I saw, it was on one of the 80s music channels, Together in Electric Dreams, Phil Oakey and Giorgio Moroder. Made me want to see this again. I haven't seen it since the 80s, so I'm really looking forward to watching that. Electric Dreams, which is the movie that track was taken from. I know very little about it. I can't remember it, to be honest, because it was that long since I've seen it. It's to do with a talking computer. That's pretty much all I know. So I'll do a proper review of that when I've actually got around to watching it. The Thing. Now this, I believe, is an Arrow release. Yes, it is. The Arrow releases have got an absolute wealth of extras on here. You could spend a day just going through the extras without watching the movie. But the movie itself is an absolute classic, made in 1982, starring Kurt Russell. Superb, directed by John Carpenter when he was at the height of his powers. No CGI in this, all practical special effects, and they are skin-crawlingly good. Well worth it if you've not seen it, although I think half the world has seen it by now. Probably a lesser known one is this one, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's a remake of an old 50s sci-fi movie starring Kevin McCarthy. Now that has just been released by the BFI, and I'm hoping to be grabbing a copy of that one very soon. This is the remake that stars Donald Sutherland and what's her name? Brooke Adams. Leonard Nimoy is in this. Jeff Goldblum is in this in an early role. I thought this was really good. As remakes, I thought this was not bad. I saw it for about £7, so I thought I really need to watch that again. So that's another one that I want to get into. I remember seeing this advertised in the film magazines. They said they were going to do a sequel, and straight off I thought, oh God, no, don't do it. Why would you want to touch something like that? But I'm actually so glad that they did. This is actually not bad. Psycho 2. It's set 22 years after the original Hitchcock version, and is really, really good. The plot is clever. It keeps you gripped right to the end. Well worth it. Certainly not what I thought it was going to be. I think they went a bit downhill after that. I don't think Psycho 3 was particularly brilliant. Psycho 4, the beginning was pretty grim. But that is not bad as sequels go. Zombie Flesh Eaters. My God. This one was banned for quite a few years. It got caught up in the video nasty sort of panic. I remember one scene that I still think I'm going to have trouble watching now, which is the scene with the splinter and the eyeball. I hate anything to do with eyes, but the movie itself is very good. It's an Italian horror. It stars Ian McCulloch, who was more famous for starring in a BBC series called Survivors. So I'm looking forward to watching that one. And there's a lady in this called Tisa Farrow, and I'm fairly sure that Tisa Farrow is another name for Mia Farrow. I'm fairly sure of it. I need to look at this and I will tell you the answer to that one. I mean, if it is Mia Farrow, you're looking at the lady that did Rosemary's Baby, who also starred in Peyton Place for many, many years. So that is a cracking film. And I promised I'd get into this franchise as well. Now, I've watched the first one, but I haven't seen any of the others. And I saw this for about £6. Fast and the Furious. Now, it's only the first 6 films, but for £6, they work out £1 each. You can't go wrong. So I'll be watching number 2 as soon as I can, and the others, and then I'm going to have to move on to 7, 8, and Fast. Is it Fast 9, the latest one, which is apparently a little bit stupid, but apparently they get really silly after the second or third one. But we'll see how we go with it. But again, rather than buying them individually, I just thought I'd grab a box set of that. And finally, or not finally, Elizabeth R. Now, this is a series that I wanted to see for quite a while. I didn't see it when it was first transmitted because it was on in the early 70s, so I didn't get a chance to watch it. I gather it's in the same vein as I, Claudius, which was a superb production, but Glenda Jackson plays Elizabeth I, so I'm really, really looking forward to watching this. I believe it's a series of 6 feature-length episodes, so that's what I definitely want to have a look at. And finally, this would be better on the Doctor Who page, actually. Lost in Time. Now, this is a series of episodes that are sort of what you class as disjointed. You've got full episodes of stories that have been lost for years, but they've managed to find like one episode here and there of each one. So I'm looking forward to watching this, just basically to see what some of these stories look like back then. But I'll do a full review of that on the Doctor Who thing that I do. And finally, I grabbed this. I haven't got a calendar for next year yet, so I thought I'd go for the Bond one. Looks really nice, actually. It's got all the original artwork from the posters, which is going to look rather handsome just over there on the wall behind me, in front of me. Right, I think that's it for this week. If you've enjoyed the video, just give me a thumbs up, and also subscribe. That'd be brilliant. And any comments that you've got, just drop them in the box below. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. I've run over a bit today, 17 minutes. That's not too bad. So have a great weekend, folks. Enjoy what's left of it, and I will talk to you all again very, very soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.